So we're going to go on to the beautiful Goddess Anahata. Now, I have to say this, right? Last month, she gave the most epic introduction. And I don't think I can match it in truth, right? Because she smashed it. You know, she made me feel like I was floating on clouds. So I'm going to say that from the very first meeting, this beautiful young woman was nothing but respectful and polite, articulate and loving. She's supremely smart, supremely intelligent, tapped into the highest level, and she's an absolute blessing to have in this group. I so enjoy her presence, her company, and I every time look forward to her poetic offerings. So over to you, my dear.
Gratitude. Supernatural Seed, that was lovely. That was beautiful. It was warm. It was inviting. Thank you. All praises to the Most High. Well, as stated, I am the Goddess Anahata, and I'm very excited about this celebration episode, really just today's piece and hearing what everybody has in store. A huge thank you to everybody who's viewing. Usually it is just the performers, and now we get to have a live audience this time around, unlike the first episode. It's been a while. So all of you audience, thank you so much. And without further ado, this first piece, well, the piece that I have today is called I Thank the Universe. And I wrote this at a time where I was transitioning from minimal gratitude to a maximum level of gratitude for every single point in my life, regardless of what was happening at the moment. Because no matter what, even when it all feels like it's going to chaos in a handbasket, still those are times to be grateful. So this piece is I Thank the Universe. Out of my new book also. This is Love's Promise. This is my newest collection, and this is my second book, published book on all platforms. The Goddess Anahata, Love's Promise. My first collection is called Lunar Eclipse, so this is my second baby. And my story is still being written. For now, I share a piece. All glory be for what I'm learning. One day the memoir shall be ready. Found more love in my soul than I've ever given myself credit for. Worldwide, all praises to the Most High. For everything I have and what I'm working to create, I live the Zen Tao Ma'at way, my peace no one can ever take. My love is for those who need it, cultivated and seeded, given to me by the universal spirit. I can hear the angels cheering and God catching me when I jump or feel defeated. The one and only, a supreme goddess, yet she remains modest, only to speak truth and live a life that's honest. One day relay what she learned while in the body with transcendent consciousness. Teach my youth prosperity. Help them be gracious adults from becoming immaculate kids. Show them how passion frees the mind to a purpose shift. Love is what my purpose is, prophetic for me to uphold. Create from speaking poetry. My ancestors and spirit guides have so much more to show me. All praises, all love, all gratitude, and all glory. Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Do you have any more for us? I think it's just one piece this time, isn't it?
Yes, I want to be time conscious. I do have one more that's short, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This one is called, it's one of my favorite ones. It's called Answers, and is a series of questions for you to ask yourself and develop those answers inside. What happens when I sit still? What happens when I move? What happens when I'm anointed and have nothing else to prove? What happens when it all works out just how it's supposed to? What happens when the Most High whispers and says, I told you? What happens when the cynics get me rent-free in their minds? What happens when I make the best use of God's time? What happens when my future generations speak of me? What happens when I stop existing and start living? What happens when I get more than what I prayed for? What happens when I stop running and rest more? What happens when I bury the past because I passed it? What happens when my soul is everlasting? What happens when my mind escapes the matrix? What happens when my love reaches dawns of new ages? What happens when I'm writing my memoirs? What happens when the universe calls me back to the stars? What happens when my darkness and my light move as a collective? What happens when my angels and monsters work together? What happens when they all see my vision? What happens when it's all written? What happens when I create as I speak? What happens when I get the answers I seek? Ashe. Thank you. Those questions hit my soul in a deep series of punch after punch after punch, because it's so simple for us to take the macro view of life and then be able to bring it into ourselves, and what happens when we just follow the sequence of life as it should be and stop resisting it so hard, and we begin to live a much more peaceful life. And that's a major part of what I come to celebrate right now.
Beautiful.
Gratitude. Thank you for all of your wonderful questions. And the divinity, I appreciate it. Yes.